Hi. Ooh, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Mental Wellness channel with Waihiga. My name is Waihiga and you are watching the Mental Wellness channel. I'm so glad to have you here. I can't wait to answer all your questions. Just need to pull them up. Hello. How are you? Can you hear me? Can you write something in the comments? Hello, welcome. If you can hear me, type something in the comments. Yes, you. Okay. Okay, so welcome to my channel. This is the Mental Wellness channel with Waihiga. If you're new here, welcome. I hope that you stick around and take a listen to what I have to share. So, I just want to go through some of the topics that I've talked about on my channel and why I chose the topics I did. The first topic that I think I'm going to start talking about is a functioning alcoholic is the worst alcoholic. And that's in my opinion. A functioning alcoholic is definitely not the greatest kind of alcoholic. And I mean that in the sense that an alcoholic is a person who obviously is unable to control the amount um, of alcohol they drink or consume, and once they pick up, they can't stop. However, for a functioning alcoholic, they can go decades, where they're able to start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. And the problem with a functioning alcoholic is that they seem to have this place of limbo where situations don't get that bad. Things don't get that bad. They're not brought into a series of circumstances in which they are forced to do something about their drinking, unlike with other types of alcoholics. A problem drinker or a hard drinker will probably reach an impasse of some kind in their lives where they will have to decide if they want to continue drinking or not, and they will decide. An alcoholic can't decide. They'll just continue drinking until they end up in jails, institutions, or death. A functioning alcoholic will often want to attempt to quit when it's too late. And you find them in their late 60s, their late 70s, their late 80s trying to quit alcohol, which is just very difficult thing to do. I also came up with another topic which I actually haven't talked about yet, which is called there is nothing like a functioning female alcoholic. And let me explain why. I know that's a very controversial thing to say, but let me explain why. A functioning alcoholic, as I just said, is someone who can drink decades, decades, years without incident, or in that place of limbo with alcohol. But most female alcoholics will unravel within a very short amount of time, right? And I don't see a lot of female alcoholics being functional alcoholics. We normally unravel very quickly, really quickly, actually. And I haven't heard of a female alcoholic who has drunk from the time she was 17 all the way to the time she was 67. I, I, I have not heard about that. Have you guys heard of that? Um, if you know of someone like that, a female alcoholic who's drunk from the age of, 17 to 67 or 20 to, I don't know, to 78, like most male alcoholics, functioning alcoholics do, please let me know. And I mean functioning alcoholic in the same way a man is a functioning alcoholic. Can keep a job, can pay bills, can, send children to school and all of that stuff. Female alcoholics tend to unravel very quickly. By the time we pick up a drink, probably 10 years or less. And then we're full-blown alcoholics. Yeah. So I had wanted to do a video actually on female. There's no such thing as a functioning female alcoholic. However, it's a bit controversial and I'm kind of scared of the backlash. So I'm not sure about that. One of my other videos was I'm not hurting anyone by my drinking, and I enjoyed making that video because for the longest time I felt like I did not hurt anybody with my drinking at all, and I just felt like, it was just me and myself. In fact, I used to walk around so entitled and so happy-go-lucky. And now that I started this channel and I'm talking to, I actually started this channel specifically with connecting with other alcoholics in mind. Long and behold, I'm connecting with their family members, I'm connecting with their friends, I'm connecting with their loved ones. Alcoholics rarely will sit down and watch this kind of content. It's too blatant in their face. And so a video like I'm not hurting anyone by my drinking, it just puts it in your face that you can't be in denial anymore. Your drinking is hurting a lot of people. It's not just hurting yourself, but it's hurting everybody else around you. I think we all know an alcoholic at this point in time. We all have been affected by an alcoholic. We all know a family member that's alcoholic. And it's just a really sad and fatal disease, but it can be managed, which is how I'm surviving, by the grace of God. It's being managed, one day at a time. And so I loved to do that video. I'm not hurting anyone by my drinking. Yeah. For the longest time, I thought that it's just me and mine. It's just me and my problems. It actually took me a long time in recovery to realize that I hurt a lot of people with my drinking. And the guilt and shame that came from that, it was really deep. So yeah. A video that I do want to do is called Trusting an Alcoholic Again. Yeah, I think I've been getting a lot of questions like this. How do you trust the alcoholic again, when they get sober? It's difficult. It's really difficult because this is like, it's like a new person being born in front of you. I am not the same person I was when I was drinking. Definitely not the same person that I was in my first year of recovery. And now I'm 5 years and 7 months, 8 months, 7 months sober. Yeah. So by the grace of God, definitely a huge step. And I've just become someone completely different. I'm more conservative in my thinking. I'm definitely an introvert. I used to think that I was an extrovert, a person who liked to go out. But that was definitely just for the booze. That was definitely for the booze. I don't enjoy going out late at night. Um, so trusting the alcoholic, it's a difficult topic. And I think as family members, it is a hard thing to have to ask for. But I also think it would be good to put some space between the first 3 years of recovery. If this is your daughter, if this is your son, if this is your husband or something, maybe put some space so that the addict who's recovering can find their space without judgment, without feeling so much guilt and so much shame. Like for the first 3 4 years of my recovery, I wasn't living, with in close proximity with my parents at the time. And I think it definitely gave me a chance to grow and to develop and to make mistakes and to also learn that sobriety and this journey is for me. I'm not doing it for anybody else, but for myself. And those expectations that are to be met are mine, yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. It's a one day at a time process. Learning how to forgive the addict, and also the addict learning how to forgive themselves. Yeah, I have to learn how to forgive myself, which is really hard. Um, Sometimes I still get flashbacks from the things that I used to do out there, and it's insane. It's insane that that was my life, you know. Um, but all the more props, that, and all the happier that I am that I've come this far. It just seems like night and day, the person that I was and the person that I am now. But trusting the alcoholic is definitely a video that I'm considering, and I've written down that I will do, for sure. Um, oh, this one is a good one as well. Um, and I'm also going to do this one. A hangover versus withdrawals. Whew. It took me until this year to realize that normal people, you know, um, us alcoholics call you normal people normies. So normies experience hangovers very differently from what we consider hangovers, which is what I'm going to talk about in another video. But a hangover for an alcoholic like myself would have been 4 days of continuous throwing up, nauseation, just weak completely, and just delirious, DTs, delirium tremens, and a host of other things. But for a normal person, a hangover, and I was very surprised to know this, a hangover is literally just a small headache after a night of over drinking, whatever that means. And it lasts a few hours the next day, the next morning. If you take a paracetamol, even the quicker it's finished. I was so perplexed to find that out. Very perplexed, actually. For me, a hangover was shaking hands, shaking body, nightmares, night terrors. Oof, couldn't keep food down, couldn't keep water down, had no energy to walk, so lethargy. And the best medicine was more alcohol, actually. That's what made me feel better. Although I'd throw up the first few times because, the alcohol made me sicker. Um, So to a normal person, over drinking and a hangover was just a few hours of just a terrible headache. For me, that was just an epiphany. I've never heard of that before. Um, so when we're talking about hangovers, we're not talking about the same thing. And it's very funny because we assume we're talking about the same thing and we're not. We're definitely not. An alcoholic hangover is not the same as a normal hangover. Yeah, I would not be able to function for 4 days after my hangover. Oh, hi. Hi, Justice. How are you? Thank you so much. Yes, this is my first live. I have no idea what I'm doing. But thank you so much for coming on. I'm so happy. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yes. And then I did another video called California Sober. California Sober. So that was an interesting topic. Although the video didn't do as well as I had wanted it to do, talking about California sobriety. This is a new term that I had of in recovery circles. So basically, you're semi sober. That's what California sobriety means. And for a person like me, I have to be completely abstinent. Um, I can't be half in, half out. It's being like a lukewarm Christian, you know? So, California sober, um, basically, you abstain from. Ah, awesome! Hey, Tabitha, I'm so happy you're here. Basically, you abstain from alcohol or whatever brought you into recovery, but you can still smoke a bit of dope, or, you know, um, illegal substances. So for me, that kind of defeats the purpose of what recovery means. Um, because, I mean, like, what's the point? One of my first relapses actually was due to that, you know, thinking that I can get away with, okay, fine, I'm not drinking anymore, but I can chew Mira. No, you can't, you know, because as soon as I started channeling, well, all my defenses went down, and immediately I wanted to drink what to drink immediately, you know. So that's what I did, you know, at the time. Um, so this thing of saying, okay, no, I'll just quit the problematic substance, but I'll still keep the other substances. It's not really helpful, and it's not really conducive for a true addict or a true alcoholic. Um, for an alcoholic, I would suggest, if you're going to try and get into recovery, please, you know, consider going sober with everything. You know, don't smoke weed, don't do cocaine. Even we don't, I don't take cough syrup because it has codeine in it, you know. Um, there's certain medications I can't take. I can't take Valium. I can't take Domicum, that I talk about a lot on this channel, because they hit that alcoholic spot in me. But also, you know, if someone is a weed smoker, they shouldn't only just give up marijuana and say, okay, but now I can drink. No, the minute you're inebriated and you have a bit of liquor in your system, what you're going to want to do is to smoke, you know. So yeah, this California sober thing, the half in, half out thing, I don't really get it. To me, I feel like it's you haven't truly hit a rock bottom if you're still considering playing around with your sobriety like that. And for me, where I had reached, uh, I was I was done. Yeah, I was done. I wasn't willing to play any more games. Uh, and I was willing to surrender everything I had to God. So whether it all had to go, it all had to go, and that's okay. So that's the intention for California sobriety. That's what, excuse me, that's what I had wanted to, that was my intention of doing that video, and to get you guys to kind of understand what California sober means. I've also been enjoying doing these TikTok reactions on, yeah, we had a power outage, but there's nothing I could have done. So we're back. Now, I was talking about the California sobriety, and after that, I think we just wrapped that up. And, ooh, another really, really good one. A topic that I really want to get covered. And actually, I just filmed this topic today, and that was Christianity